high school, I moved away to Colorado, where I went to law school, and I ended up living out there for about 10 years. When I moved back to Connecticut, I was waiting for my law license to come through, and I decided to volunteer on a political campaign to meet people who were like-minded and kind of get involved. And I ended up working on John DeStefano's 2006 gubernatorial campaign. So I started out as a volunteer on that campaign and got very invested in it, and ended up going to work full-time on it for most of that year, even after my license came through, because it was so exciting. And I got to know him really well during that campaign, and he ended up hiring me at the end of the campaign to be his deputy chief of staff. So I worked for him for about 5 years, and in that capacity, I was also the legislative director, so I spent a lot of time working with the city departments on their budgets, going up to Hartford and helping to identify funding sources for them, and also got the opportunity to be part of some labor negotiations with our workforce, including one that I'm particularly proud of, which was back in 2009, New Haven launched a big school reform initiative, and at that time in the country, places like New York and Washington, D.C., the cities and the school districts are really going to war with the teachers' unions over school reform. And in our mayor's office, we talked about that and said, we know that teachers go into teaching because they care about kids, and they're not against kids. They just want a fair system. And we actually flew down to D.C. and met with the head of the teachers union down there and said, you guys are getting killed in the press. People are thinking that teachers are against kids. We think we can do it differently in New Haven. We think we can do it together. So we worked with the unions, with parents, with students, with other community members and nonprofit organizations, the teachers and administrators, and we were able to come up with a really historic teacher's contract, which is now a model that's being used all over the country for ways for school districts and unions to work together. So that's something I'm proud of, that shows my ability to be a consensus builder and to really work with all different stakeholders to reach our mutual interests and goals. After finishing working for the mayor, I went to go work for United Way. I run the education initiatives for United Way of Greater New Haven, our several programs, and also our grant making. But when I finished up working for the city, my husband and I started talking about where we wanted to settle. We had ended up in New Haven kind of by happenstance because of my job, but we realized that that wasn't where we wanted to really put down our roots. So I really wanted to come back to this area. We loved it so much, and it was just an easy choice to pick Norwalk for many of the same reasons that folks have already talked about. It's a vibrant city. There's diversity here. Everything that we were looking for, the location, the people. And so we, 2 years ago, bought a house on East Avenue, and we've been living there. Since I got here, and before, I've been watching what's been going on in Norwalk in terms of the political situation and also what's happening on the council. And I've been very frustrated by also what other folks have mentioned, some of the infighting within our party, which I think has really gotten in the way of us being able to accomplish some of the things that we really could accomplish. So after talking to folks, out you guys, but my parents are really good friends with Kay and Bruce, and also with the Collinses, and so talked to them too and they encouraged me to get involved. I think that my background, knowing how to work with many different stakeholders, as well as having a really deep understanding about the way that municipal government works and the challenges that are faced, as well as also understanding the funding streams that come from Hartford and how we might put some more pressure on our legislators to help us in terms of pilot and ECS. I think can really help to move our city forward. So I hope that I'll have an opportunity to get to know you all better. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I hope that you'll support me.
You're in Ward A, right?
I'm in Ward A. It looks like Ward A may recommend me, but we never know. We haven't voted yet.
For sure.
Okay, we're going to take a few brief questions from the Mr. D.